Hello and welcome back to Yay Basketball, the basketball game show. Monday, June 24th, 2024. Oh, it is good to be back. Along with me today, I've got we'll call him Brewery Bob.
That's right, Michael. It's 7 p.m. and it is 97 degrees Fahrenheit for all you international listeners.
We should do a little time weather update.
Yeah.
I like that.
You're welcome.
As well as an Alaskan by trade, Justin Moore.
How's it going? It's great to be back again.
It is indeed. And a hard-working father of three, fresh off what looks to be a refreshing trip to Colorado.
Trip for sure.
Trey Dishner is here with us as well.
Glad to be back, guys. It's hot as heck.
I was going to start clapping, but you beat me to it.
Miss you guys. And the
It
fans.
is good to be back. Welcome, John Anthony. Of course, our boy Dan is here. Cactus is here. David is here. Thank you guys.
What's up,
for being
guys?
here.
Thank you,
David was
guys.
having YB withdrawals, he says, so we are glad to be back. John Anthony and Cactus, let's get this out of the way. Congratulations on your championship.
Congratulations.
You guys suffered for so long. I can't imagine what it's like. Okay, let's get to it. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. As always, if you're watching right now, drop a like on the YouTube, rate 5 stars on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, share with friends, and follow us at @yay_basketball on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
Add me on the ground.
It's been a few weeks, but last time we played Adjust the Rotation, Jump Ball Trivia, and the Shoot Around. It was a fun one. So be sure to check that one out if you have not already. Also, go to yaybasketball.com for exclusive YB merch. We've got t-shirts, mugs, hats, stickers, hoodies, with a bunch of great designs, many of those made by our very own Dan Heelboy, a new member of the team, making those fantastic designs. So go check that out at yaybasketball.com for exclusive YB merch now. Justin,
Yeah.
This is the basketball game show after all. So before we dive into our first game of the day, can we get an update on the scoreboard and a recap of last episode's picks, please?
You can indeed, Michael. Now, Luka, over 31.5 for you. But only lost 200 points. Not a big deal.
What did he have?
Less
It's
than
in the
that.
scoreboard.
Nope.
It is.
Oh, well,
Want to bet
I'm
money?
I'm not on that page.
Oh, you should be. This is your job.
Well, I'm on the other page. I had to enter everybody's things. He had 30.
So close.
So close. What did you? 200
I
points.
only lost
Would've.
200, and it was the free bet.
It was a free bet. It would have and it would have put you in first place. But
Yeah.
that being said, you're tied in first place with Trey, who correctly said Kyrie was going to go under by a lot. Kyrie was under was 23.5. He had 12
Yikes.
big ones. I had Jaden Hardy over 4.5. Look at him, 13 big ones.
Wow.
You know what I mean? 13 big ones, a big
Those are
850 for
good
me.
meat.
So I'm in technically third place, I guess. That's kind of how that works. Hey, Bob, you want to talk about Jaylen Brown's first game? 23.5 points. He had 22.
Yeah.
And that just gutted you. All your points.
Really,
you know?
really
Hey,
did it to me.
I've been there. It's okay. For the last 2 months, I've
Yeah, you
know,
have.
it's
Yeah,
okay.
it's been brutal
okay.
for you.
Yeah. So we're gonna make some. We're gonna discuss the finals. We're gonna discuss all the stuff we've missed in the last few weeks, and reward some points along the way, playing some games. And at the end of it, we'll spin the wheel, and then we'll make our picks for the end of the episode. And this is our final episode of the month. So Trey and I in a dead heat. So we shall see what happens there. But let's get to our first game of the day today, shall we, gentlemen?
Let's do it.
I
Our
like
first one is over under. That's right. It is over under. This one's pretty straightforward. I will list a stat from around the league. You will then work as a team to determine whether the actual stat is over or under the given prompt. If you get it right, you get 100. If you get it wrong, I get the points for that round. Sound good, team?
Yeah, sounds pretty good.
All right, I'm glad it sounds good. Yeah, that'll do.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
sometimes.
All right. Number 1, average margin of victory for the Boston Celtics in the 2024 NBA Finals. Over under 13.5 points.
I want to say over.
Go. Okay, sorry about that, everybody. It is what it is. I don't really care. Here you go. Enjoy. Go ahead.
13.5.
I don't know.
Goes to like average margin of victory. Does it count the big loss?
Yes.
So like
That's going to be an outlier. It's going to bring it down big time.
has to. Only 5 games. There it is.
I think they did beat the Mavericks by a good amount. A couple, 2-3 times. I mean, even this last game was by way more than 13.5. So I don't know. My first thought would be over. But
All right.
what do you guys think?
I like the over.
Yeah,
Over it is.
over it is.
Decided.
We're going over on
We're
13 and a half.
going
Sorry, I
over.
was just reading the comments of everybody during our audio. Shout out to Vernon for being here. Shout out to Tryhard McGee for being here.
Hey.
What's up, Vernon?
Shout out to Aubrey Tackett for being here.
Hey.
Knows
Shout
about
out
Aubrey.
Aubrey.
Thank you for Aubrey. We're doing well. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, Cactus says, wouldn't be our favorite podcast without it. Hang in there. You're right. Over on 13 and a half. Is that correct?
Is it?
Is it?
Let's
You
find
tell us.
out. It is. It is. Yes! It is not.
Oh my god.
No,
No
it was
way.
under 12 and a half.
Wow.
Sorry, my brethren.
It's okay.
12 and a half is what it is. The Boston Celtics defeated
get
the
richer.
Dallas Mavericks in a 5-game demolition, finishing the season with a record of 80-21 and claiming the title of best in the league. Should we have seen this coming all along? And is this just the beginning for Boston? Bob.
That's a great question, Michael. As always, thank you so much for asking.
You're
it.
welcome.
Yeah, of course, 80 and 12 is 21 is an absurd record all throughout the playoffs and the regular season. I think at the end of the day, they'll be considered one of the top 10 single season teams of all time. It's the truth, though. When you have a record in the playoffs, you only lose less than 4 games. You only lost 4 games. Absolutely impressive. This team really came together when Drew Holiday came to the team. That's when we all said, all right, the Celtics are going to win. They're going to win it all. And there's no other competition around it. Well, time passed, trades were made, acquisitions happened. And then we were like, yeah, Boston's just a super team. We're just gonna watch them win most games. Well, they threw up on themselves a few times, like they did in the postseason last year. They still secured the number 1, seed overall. Which, arguments, of course, them having a very easy run to the playoffs. That's kind of why you get the number 1 seed. So you have the easiest run through the playoffs. So if the other teams are injured, whatnot, it is what it is. And there's not a whole lot you want to put an asterisk.
You don't?
4th time's the charm.
Hang
Let's
in
try it
there.
one more time.
Hang in there.
Slowly.
If you want to put a little thingy on
Wow.
Let's do it together.
asterisks.
No.
Asterisks.
No.
What?
Asterisk.
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 There we go.
All right, that's easy.
Okay.
All right, Miho.
I want to be held accountable for etc. I'll hold you accountable for asterisk.
And espresso. Okay, so
That's me livid.
yeah, we should have seen this one coming a mile away.
Thoughts on the series? Should we have seen this coming the whole time?
I don't think we should have seen it coming the whole time. I think there's definitely some outliers that happened. I don't want to hate on the Boston Celtics like this.
What outliers?
Injuries to multiple giant superstars. It's not you get the number 1 seed for an easy route to the finals. You do that.
But the injuries,
You
yeah.
don't choose to be in the Eastern Conference that's way worse than the Western Conference. Like, that's a little bit different. And so, like, so it
He was
just
saying ass tricks. Bob's ass tricks. Sorry, go ahead.
so I
That was gonna pop out.
so yeah, I don't think it's something that we should have seen all along. I mean, congratulations to them. Obviously, you win. That's what it is. But to call them to go down in history as one of the 10 greatest single season teams of all time,
I think that's a stretch.
I think it's
yeah.
a big stretch when you then factor in the opponents and the competition they had to face to get there, comparatively to the other great
Sure.
teams throughout history.
Stat heads and statistical people will tell you that they are in the conversation for that top 10, but they don't really. They're more in like a league of like the Pistons. I think we can agree. The 04 Pistons, right? They have a couple of perennial all-stars, but I think we could agree Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum aren't on like that. Luka, Jokic, Giannis level, right? They're not quite up in the upper echelon.
No,
So, yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, we're talking
I mean,
single players or
yeah.
single players, and the Celtics again proved kind of what the Warriors' logic was. That was build through the draft, have your stars become stars with your
but they had
around.
Steph and they had Kevin Durant.
Okay, that was KD was an addition after Steph had already won one with the homegrown team in 15. So
Is Jason Tatum as good as Steph Curry?
no, hell no.
Okay, then I don't know.
So exactly. So we're not talking single like player attributions. We're talking full teams built around. And the Warriors had built a team to beat a single entity in LeBron James.
So you don't think that we could name 20 teams that would beat this Celtic, or 10 teams that would beat this Celtics team?
I think we could.
10
Well, no, I
teams
don't know
that
about
could-
10. Yeah, I don't know about
top
10.
to bottom.
In the history
We're
of the league.
getting a little
Yeah.
off. We're getting a little we're getting a little off base here. Is this just the beginning? Do you see more coming for them?
I mean, they're going to be in the mix. I don't see them winning more championships, like dynasty wise. I thought there was already going to be a dynasty happening, right? So like I think I've learned my lesson and like
Yeah,
you know
stop
what,
calling
maybe-
dynasties.
Yeah, like it's just what it is. I feel like it's going to be more parity potentially. That being said, history is on their side. We are due for a repeat champion.
Yeah,
That's
you're
just
right.
to be consistent with it.
Trey.
I think this is something we should have seen all along. If I remember, this was my preseason pick to win the championship. We've seen all year that they were dominating teams. They matched up. I mean, they match up well against anybody. Getting Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis this past year was huge. Was looking. They got Derek White for Romeo. I think his name
Romeo Langford, yeah.
which is like crazy.
And like a pick or something, right?
Yeah, something I don't know what pick, but to get that type of player that stepped up huge when they needed him, defensively, offensively, Sam Hauser. Yeah, this team is just getting started. Kristaps Porzingis, if he can stay healthy and play like he did this past year, they're going to be scary. I see them winning another one within the next couple of years.
The Celtics sent Josh Richardson, Romeo Langford, and a top 4 protected 2022 first-round pick to the Spurs for Derek White.
Say it worked out.
Definitely worth it. Yeah, definitely worth it. So, yes, I think we should have seen this coming. I remember when we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm so on the fence. I could see it being the Maverick, best player in the series goes thermonuclear and holy shit, and he wins the title. Or it could be, you were the one that said 5 games. You're like, I could see it being a 5-gamer. And I was like, I don't see it being a 5-gamer. But yeah, we should have seen this. They were the best team all year from tip. Mm-hmm. They were the best team in the league all season. How they became like underrated somehow, I don't understand how that happened. I include myself in that. I definitely did. I was like, oh, Celtics, whatever. There, Clayton at Joe's. Shout out to Clayton if he's listening. He made a bet at the beginning of the playoffs, pre-playoffs. Somebody was so confident with him, he bet him $1,000 cash. If he said, I bet the Celtics win the title, you can have the field. And Clayton obviously took the field because the Celtics were the Celtics. And he was like, that's a good bet, right? And I was like, absolutely, that's a good bet. He lost $1,000 off it. Now, but let's not say $1,000, but all of us would have made that bet at the beginning of the playoffs, right? You take the field over one singular team.
I don't know though. That would
At the beginning of the
I probably
playoffs.
would have, the way I was talking. Yeah.
If I was like, I'll give you 20, but let's just not the grandiosity of $1,000, but if it was just $20,
I was high
But
on
we
the Sixers
all
in the
knew-
beginning. No, I was high on the Sixers in the beginning of the playoffs. I remember
And
me
the Nuggets,
saying,
and then the Wolves,
I
and
called Dallas Sixers. And I was
We
like,
all
well,
knew the
got one
Celtics
of
were
them.
the best team because I was like, if anybody's going to knock them off, it may be the Knicks. Like I was big on that. But
Yeah.
the Celtics were. We all knew the Celtics were the best team in the playoffs.
yeah, they've been the best team.
Not speaking for me.
They've had,
Yeah.
but they have been. But that's my point.
He said, not me.
They have been the best. They were the best team all season. At no point did they really show any weakness. I would say outside of those game twos at home where they lost to the Heat and they lost to the Cavs, and it's like, what are you guys doing? You're fucking playing with your food. Just finish it. They were the best, and they deserve this title. And I it was weird. But towards the end of the series, I found myself kind of like rooting for them. I was like, you know what, good for the Celtics, which is like, not. I know that for many reasons the Celtics are supposed to be despised as a franchise because of a lot of their fan base, but it's kind of like the opposite of the Chiefs for me. Like I despise the fan base so much of the Chiefs that I just dislike the team, but I'm able to separate that when it comes to the Celtics. I'm like, I don't like the fans, but the team I have a lot of respect for. Missoula, easy to like in my mind. Al Horford, one of the most lovable players in the league. I found myself rooting for Jason Tatum in this series. When it was over, I was like, man, good for Tatum. Like he got over the hump. He they all did it together. I really like the team, and is it the beginning of something for the future? I agree with Justin. I'm not going to say, look out, here's a dynasty, because next year they're going to get eliminated in the second
Wizards
round.
Watch also ended. Like, we learn lessons out here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it finally feels like the Celtics have just started. It feels like
That's fair.
Finally.
That's fair.
It's like, all right, let's get going.
They
It
got some
just
missing
started.
pieces,
It
and
feels like that
Jason
way.
Tatum could take a deep breath. Like
That's true, yeah. And sometimes that's what it takes.
He can
you know?
delete Kobe's number from his phone finally, just fucking move
texting.
on.
Is he going to take like a Jason Tatum deep breath or like somebody else's
reply.
deep breath and just
He said,
copy
"I
that?
finally did it."
Hey, yo, send me Jalen's number.
John Anthony made a really good point in here, which I think is something that is important. The biggest thing about the Celtics and when it comes to their future is all of their key pieces are locked up.
Yeah.
There's nothing is changing. You know, we poked at it a little bit in the offseason last year, and then in the Game 7 against the Wolves this season, we talked, we're like, they could have used Bruce Brown, or they could have used Jeff Green, but really the Nuggets didn't lose any huge pieces. Forget huge pieces. They're not losing anyone. The entire roster's locked up for next season. So you kind of go, well, what could change? Maybe Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday or is Jaylen Brown Team USA? Or is it just Drew? Is it Tatum? Is it Tatum and Drew? I think it's Tatum and Drew. Regardless.
Tatum's got to be on Team USA.
Right. Regardless, maybe one of the things that could play a factor is exhaustion. But outside of that, I mean, you know, they're the exact same team. What's going to change? Other teams, right?
And the Celtics have some young players that are coming up. Jordan Walsh, J.D. Davidson that they just drafted.
Svi Mikhailuk.
Yeah, like they do have a lot. I don't know about him. But
Hey, he got playing time, baby.
Yeah,
He got playing time.
Peyton
Yeah, when they're up
Pritchard.
by 40.
Yeah, he got finals
Peyton
time.
Pritchard, he's huge. Like this team is just getting started.
Yeah. Just very, very quickly, was this a boring series for you? Yeah.
Yeah, we lost in this series. Not like
The
as
viewers.
fans. The
I get
viewers
it.
lost.
Yeah.
And that's why we got to change AFC, NFC.
There's
do
a
it.
fascinating.
Gotta do it.
I did see a fascinating stat that was viewership for the finals with Steph Curry in the finals versus not, and we haven't had one over 12 million views per game since Steph hadn't been in the finals since 22. So,
Yep.
pretty
I mean, that
interesting
dude
stuff.
was making crazy shots. Like that dude, yeah, he was like
Wicked.
what Caton Clark was.
Even as of 2 years ago. All right.
But that's also because one of the biggest, most notable franchises in the sport, and also the second most viewed player in the sport as well. So
Oh, but Boston's most legacy. You know, they've got all these fans and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
like,
They were in that finals.
still not. Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, they got their third.
They helped.
They got their third title since the fall of the Berlin Wall. All right, let's go to. Let's go to question 2, and like I said, boys, we got a thick speed takes coming up. So let's keep things moving. The Dallas Mavericks points per game in the 2024 NBA Finals, over under 98.5.
I'm pretty confident it's under.
See, I was too, and then you said it. Now I'm like over.
I want to say.
Just disagree.
Because we were so confident on the
Freeze.
other one.
I wanted to say under as well.
Freeze.
So.
It's still
It's all
going?
month, baby.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I think
forgot.
it's under. What do you think, Trey?
I think it's under, but now with Justin saying that, kind of makes me think it's like that half point.
I don't know. You got us wrong in the wrong direction last time. So
You guys always placing blame. You're like, we listened to Trey.
Let's go.
Well,
Let's go
all
over.
right.
This
Let's
time
go
we're going to
over.
listen to you.
you think we're gonna go over this
Yeah,
time?
I think we're gonna go.
Okay,
over.
we're not listening to you for a month after
Okay,
this.
sounds good.
Get it over.
Turn his mic off.
Unfreeze.
Over final answer?
Yeah. What do you think, Justin?
No, yeah.
No,
Yeah,
go ahead.
what do you got?
No, freeze.
What do you
Shut
got?
up.
Over, yeah.
Go.
Over final answer.
Yeah.
Unfreeze.
This one, unfortunately, is wrong time to be me because it's right.
Oh, okay.
All right, we're listening to Trey for a moment.
Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks came up short in their 5-game finals loss to the Celtics. Bob, what was Dallas missing in this series, and what should be their top priority this offseason?
Great question, Michael. I know I always say that because they're always great questions, and it gives me a minute to think about it.
I'm stalling.
so
I'm
much
stalling.
better
so I
to
can
go
put my
second, I'm not
thoughts
gonna lie to you.
together. I know. Well, we saw a lot of great things out of the Dallas Mavericks this season. Obviously, the development with Derek Lively is one of my personal favorite things.
Man.
Seeing him grow and honestly get better.
Rookie.
Despite the concussion and everything off the court. So I feel like they're not missing big guys. They're not missing youth. They're not missing athleticism. They're really missing almost... I mean, Kyrie helped barely with the maturity in the locker room. Obviously, you have someone else who's a good facilitator. Just get someone who's just a knockdown shooter. I know PJ Washington was really great for him, just sitting in the corner. But what if you could utilize PJ in another role or upgrade from PJ potentially to have someone in that corner? Or
Sure.
I don't know. The upgrades that they would need are more time focused. It's more chemistry. Let Gafford and PJ, kind of do their thing. Let Lively develop naturally. But don't really get rid of anybody unless it's Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yeah.
Unless it's maybe Dante Exum.
He played good minutes for them.
Josh Green was great, but I think his value is high enough now that you trade him. So at least you can get something back for Josh Green. Very young guy, obviously stood up in his position when he could. So I really appreciated him quite a bit. So if they could improve, maybe dish out some of the lower level dudes like Exum and Green and then,
Asterix.
and Asterix and
Bob's Asterix.
maybe a pick away and then swing for someone big. Like what if, I don't know, the what if carousel of.
Yeah, but do you think another star is what they need? Because I can see the Paul George lingering off your lips. That's not.
No. It's
what he needs. That's what he needs.
It's Donovan Mitchell is what's linked. It's Donovan Mitchell that's.
What? You think they need another ball-heavy guard?
You didn't read this whole.
We already went through this.
Yeah, we went through the chat.
You didn't hear this?
Oh, I didn't read any of that.
It was like 120
messages.
plus messages of.
This is what we were talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
I was like,
Oh my god, no. Honestly, I think it's if they were to go for a big star, I would prefer they go for Donovan Mitchell over Paul George. I think just it's not about
you want to
adding.
get smaller and worse on defense?
Yeah.
No,
That's
I want to find the next main focal piece. If you have Luka, who's his running mate for long term, it's not going to be Kyrie because he's 32 next year. If you have Donovan Mitchell now and you don't bring in injury-ridden Paul George, then hey, you have a chance for a longer runway, potentially better future for
Cactus,
Donovan Mitchell.
Cactus just quickly said, God, I need to make a Yay Basketball out of context compilation. And Cactus, if you do, I will post it on our YouTube channel. All right, go ahead. Oh, the question was, what's the top priority? What were they missing in the series? What's the top priority in the offseason?
What they were missing in the series. I didn't want to have this take, but I think I agree with it. Luka needs to learn better basketball. Not abilities, but decision making. Like there were so many times he'd make the wrong play. When I'm watching this, you're like, "What are you doing? This is not the time to do that. This is not the time to lay on the ground and yell. This is not
the call.
Like you can argue calls and you can do your thing, but like when you're not getting back on defense and giving up threes, when you're the missing piece on the other side of the floor because you're literally on the ground.
I mean, he was a turnstile on defense.
Anthony Davis, and at times he was. Well, there's times when Anthony Davis will be laying on the ground because he falls down every time and he doesn't get back up fast enough.
Okay, times, but he's one of the best defenders in the league. So
Not like that. Not like that. Like
understand.
on the
Okay.
And I just remember us making fun of him forever for that. But like, it's just you have to be better. You're the guy. You did not play well enough. Your stats can say one thing, and your ability to affect the game can say another thing. A la the LeBron James conversation we had earlier this year.
Sure.
Your stats can say one thing, and you're not affecting winning.
Yeah.
You're not affecting winning in the biggest moments. You have to get better. And I do think there is a difference between the EuroLeague championship and the NBA Finals. Because we all thought he's a young guy. It's his first time there, but he's been in these other big games and these other hostile environments. And I just think there's another stage to this that's more impactful and it means more to people. And I do think that was too much for him at this point in time. Do I think it's forever? No, but I guess TBD.
Sure. So he's 25 right now. Tatum was 25 at his first finals, right? I think 25, 24, because it was two years ago. So it would have been around
Tatum's
that.
26.
So just quickly, did you see the Brian Windhorst ether on Luka? The post game,
Yeah.
you got it, that whole thing. Were you on board with that, or do you think that was too much?
It might have been a little too much. In the moment, there's times and places for things.
Yeah.
Might have been too much. I just gave the same opinion.
Yeah,
10
but
seconds ago.
I don't disagree with him. It's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Correct.
I guess
Correct.
that's fair. Trey, what were they missing, and what is their top priority in the offseason for the Mavs?
So what they were missing was consistent 3-point shooting or
Yeah.
consistent shooting because, I mean, they were playing against the Celtics. They have good D, but they were missing like open shots a lot. They shot 36.9% from three during the season, which was like league average. During the postseason, it was 31%. Derek Jones Jr., PJ Washington, they are great shooters, but they weren't stepping up when they needed to. Derek Derek Jones Jr.
Jr.,
is a free agent this postseason, and I wouldn't pay him.
Really?
If you're gonna do what they need is a 3.
He's a
That's the
UFA,
first
right?
question. What they need is a 3. What you saw is Luka and Kyrie going out there doing all the work, scoring 25 plus points, and the role players weren't showing up. They would, when the games that they did show up, they would win. PJ Washington, Derek Jones Jr., Tim Hardaway was unheard of. He needs to get cut instantly.
Cut.
You need
No,
to
I don't disagree.
They need to do something with him, but he doesn't need to be a part of the roster. But a 3's big. Paul George is definitely my top pick. You get a 3-and-D guy. He's coming off one of his better years in his career. He's not going to be your number one option, obviously, because you have Luka who can lead the postseason in points, rebounds, assists, do all that. But he can play that third role or second role over Kyrie.
Yeah.
And come up and step. They can do a 1-2 thing. But you get a 3-and-D guy that, yes, he is injury-ridden in the past, but he did play a lot this year. And I think that's the big piece that they need. And that what they were missing is that 3 guy. Because they got the 2 bigs, which helped out in Gafford and Washington. But, yeah, 3-point shooting was what they were lacking.
I think the biggest thing is you need a defensive stopper. It felt like they had defensive assets and guys that can play defense, but when your top 2 players are one-way players, let's just be honest here. Respect to Kyrie, he's an okay on-ball defender, but Luka was literally unplayable on the defensive side of the ball. The entire game plan for the Celtics was attack on Luka, drive and kick. I mean, there were Twitter comps of the amount of times where he was just doing the slap defense that James Harden always got criticized for. You got to have a defensive asset, right? Like a Lou Dort or an Alex Caruso or Chet Holmgren. Oh, all those guys are on the Thunder. Oh, sorry. Or like you just have to have a guy that you can just somehow hold down the fort. Now, would it have mattered against the Celtics team? I don't necessarily think so, because like we were talking about, they're 5 deep at all times, right? So, what their first priority is, I agree. They're gonna have. So they have Tim Hardaway under contract through next season, so they've got to facilitate a deal. I feel.
Which, by the way, that contract. Kudos to his agent. That is an insane.
Yeah,
contract.
He's making 16.1 this year, so that's a hell of a contract.
$75 million guaranteed.
Over the course of the contract. Yeah, you're right.
Crazy.
Doesn't look like that much money now.
Yeah, that's true. All right, we've got a lot to get to, but first we've got to get to the section that makes everybody wants to come see Bob's ass tricks.
It's time for Bob's ass tricks.
Yeah, that's right. Bob's ass tricks are back, baby. 2 weeks without them.
You BBL Bobby?
How did you live? I don't know. Anyway, so I think it's only appropriate. We'll keep the Bob's buckets to short and sweet and simple. It's the man who won Finals MVP, Jaylen Brown.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, he didn't. Thanks. Unfortunately, he didn't get over 23.5 points for me in our bet. Really pissed me off. However, JB proved to all of us that he may actually be the best player on the Celtics team. And I think that keeps Justin very happy because guess what? The Celtics aren't going anywhere. Jaylen Brown can do his thing. Jason Tatum can be a better Ben Simmons. And hey, you know what? And you know what? I didn't get this bit in last time. Is Luka Doncic just James Harden with privilege? Think about it. Think about it. Because I'm pretty sure we're there.
I'm dead.
Anyway, Jaylen Brown, of course, won Finals MVP. He won my heart, and he won this week's bucket. So thanks, Jaylen Brown. Final bucket of the NBA season for 2024. Expect, shenanigans and WNBA players for the buckets.
On the show?
Moving forward.
On the show?
Maybe. Call me Cam.
Okay, we can do that.
We're on a first name basis.
Hey,
Yeah, JB's where it's
quick
at.
fun fact of the day. Jaylen Brown's the youngest person to ever give a lecture at Harvard.
I mean, the man from Cal, of course.
And he interned at NASA, I heard.
Man,
Look into it.
that basketball IQ.
Don't you want to get your take off? Go ahead.
Nah, he already get it. He put it out there. That's what it is. I mean, I've been saying it for years.
Better Ben Simmons is wild.
That's crazy.
James,
You know what? I'm
James
gonna
Harden
start-
with privilege is a wild soundbite.
Given your fun fact, and then your follow up of intern at NASA. My new thing, Jaylen Brown did something amazing. He's the new who's that guy? The karateness.
Oh my!
You know what I'm talking about? Walker Texas Ranger.
Oh, Chuck Norris.
Yeah, he's my new Chuck Norris.
I'll be the first to say too, because I was hating on Jaylen Brown at the beginning of the season, or when he got the big contract, and we had the debate with I know we have to move on, but the Donovan Mitchell and him, it's close. I got to give him his flowers.
It's close.
Got to give
Jaylen Brown his flowers.
Jaylen Brown just won Finals MVP.
We got to give it to him. Yeah, we got to give it to him now. Before I was not giving it to Jaylen Brown, but now I would.
Is he the best player on the Celtics?
No.
With Jason Tatum's new contract, will Jason Tatum be the best player on the Celtics?
Yes. Especially with this breath of fresh air. He just won his title. All the stress off him. He's going to come out.
Man, I saw
all the stress off of him.
I saw a Deuce
no,
highlight
not all the
tape.
stress off him, but he's going to come out and ball out.
Quinn, can we
awesome.
quickly just talk about how corny Tatum was post game five? Jesus
Super
Christ,
Devin
dude.
Booker vibes.
We did it. We did it. Now, cool.
Devin
I get it.
Booker vibes.
That's
He
what
wanted-
if Devin Booker would have won. He would have done the same
He
thing.
wanted that moment.
Yes.
But you can't that's why those moments are those moments. You can't manufacture those moments.
He did them all.
Anything is possible. Do you think Kevin Garnett was in the mirror practicing anything is possible? No. I promise you Jason Tatum was in the mirror practicing. We did it. We did it. I will say though, one of the coolest pictures I can remember in recent memory from the NBA is him tossing up
Yes.
with the confetti falling. Also,
Yes.
the Shea Serrano and Network. I forget his name. Anyways, I feel horrible about it. Jason Concepcion mentioned this on Six Trophies. The amount of fucking confetti. I've never seen more confetti in my density. It was like a snowstorm in there. All right, we got to get cooking, my boys. It is time to catch up on the things that we've been missing with a little speed takes.
Speed action.
That's right. It's been a few weeks and we've got a lot of catching up to do, so let's catch up with some speed takes. Emphasis on the speed takes,
Speed.
gentlemen. I don't want you to be mad at me if we run long.
Just
this
kick
is not
us
my
off,
fault.
Kick us off if we get too long.
No, the
All right.
show's
You give
going
us
till 10,
permission.
guys. Show's going till 10.
The Lakers
Strap
agreed
in.
to a 4-year deal with J.J. Redick to become the new head coach of one of the most prestigious franchises in American sports. In his introductory press conference today, when asked about proving the doubters wrong about his resume or coaching capabilities, he said, "I really don't give a fuck." Bob, was J.J. Redick the right hire?
I think he was. Listen, he's going to step in there day one into the locker room. He'll already have LeBron's respect, which means he has the locker room's respect. That's a huge deal. Not only
take.
that, but Rob Pelinka and Jeannie Buss. Listen, maybe they didn't get their number one guy, but they got the second guy, or the guy in their minds they wanted the number one guy, which is pretty close to complete alignment, which is kind of what you're looking for in today's NBA. So good on them. Good hire. 4 years. Make your money.
Yeah, it's either going to be a really good hire or one of the dumbest moves they've ever made.
Zero coaching experience.
Yeah, so it could be stupid as fuck. I'm leaning more towards stupid as fuck because I don't think the team's going to be that good. And I wonder if we're going to blame him the same way we blamed the last two coaches, even though they're probably going to have more success in their 2 years than he's going to have in his 4.
Damn, that's a
okay.
take.
Trey?
This was a good pick. You know, this is a player that was just in the league, played with these style of players. He's seen this new kind of age of basketball. Has a podcast with LeBron. I don't know if that's going to keep going.
It is not. He said he is
Gone.
done
So-
podcasting.
So yeah, they already have built the chemistry. You know,
Soft.
they're on the same page. And being on the same page with LeBron, it's going to mesh. It's
Yeah.
I
gonna work
hope
out.
even more now he doesn't resign.
You guys make the most. you guys make really good points there. Yeah, having a good relationship with LeBron is probably the most
It's
important
huge.
thing when it comes to a team that is led by LeBron. I think the Dan Hurley thing was a leverage play on both parts.
Yes.
Hurley wanted a contract extension from UConn, which he got, and they wanted to pay a head coach less than they were going to have to, Redick, who has no coaching experience, than they ended up doing. So I don't think it was like a conspiracy theory. They were never going to hire him, but I don't know that was ever actually going to come to fruition. When I saw that, I was like...
I didn't think that
I was
that
like,
was going to be a thing.
no way, right? I like it. I like Redick. Like, personally, I like Redick. I'm a fan of his podcast. We clip him all the time. Definitely a bummer to what did he say? Oh,
Damn.
big blow to what did he say?
Clips. He'll
That's true.
interviews.
He'll still be doing post game. He'll be talking almost just as much.
I like his attitude. I like his I don't give a fuck.
I like the way he carries himself. He's obviously a basketball. I'm not gonna say savant or genius or anything, but he knows the game really, really well. Rumors are that he's trying to get Rondo on the staff.
Hell yeah!
I feel like,
I saw
especially with rookie coaches, they tend to fill the staff with veteran assistants and things of that nature. So I think the Lakers have the leverage to make that happen if they put a good staff around him, and him and LeBron have a good rapport. I feel like the problems that they had with Darvin Ham won't be prevalent this year because they will be able to communicate with one another in ways that Ham was not able to receive. Did you have something quickly?
Watch him sign Dwight.
Okay. Oh, as an assistant or as a player?
Like a player.
Okay.
Sign him back.
Number 2, the Chicago Bulls finally put an end to the trade rumors that have been swirling around their franchise for years by trading away Alex Caruso. Yeah, that's right. The Oklahoma City Thunder acquired 2-time all-defensive guard Alex Caruso in exchange for Josh Giddey. Bob, how much better does this make the Thunder, and what moves do they need to make next?
I love it for the Thunder. They really improved where they needed to improve, which was just adding defensive pieces around SGA, around their offense, like J-Dub. Really good move by them. Listen, the Bulls, you booed a dead man's widow. You're going to boo the shit out of this guy. Like, I don't know if there's a lot of excitement around around Josh Giddey going to the Bulls. I just don't see it. But the Thunder, this is a legitimate step in the right direction. It instantly makes them a contender, and I won't hear otherwise because they made it so far and so close just last year on what they had.
Yeah. Watch
them go incredibly far this year. Don't be surprised when they make the Western Conference Finals. Anyways.
Of course. Yeah. What's their next move, you think?
Their next move, they're just going to play it again. They're going to run back this team with Caruso. They're not going to do anything extra, and then they're going to figure out what they need to do after that. If they need to improve, they will. If they don't need to improve, they win the finals. They already did it. Like, they don't need to do anything else, and they can keep their picks. They can keep developing. They can keep building. They set themselves up for such a long trajectory, a very long runway. It's really nice, and it's clean to kind of watch it kind of play out the way that it is. And the fact that they only had to give up Josh Giddey for it.
No picks. Crazy. They got that war chest and not a single one was touched.
Beautiful.
Justin.
So the Thunder are going to be good. They're going to be, you know what I mean? They still think they do need to address their center position. I think they need to get a little bit more size, a little bit more better rebounding. Just somebody who's more stout, a la like a Clint Capella would be great for them. But I think the Bulls, twofold. One, I think if you're DeMar DeRozan, you can't be on that stage talking about pedophiles and then play on a team with Josh Giddey. You cannot.
We're not doing that.
Also, you cannot.
We will not play into that false.
How great this is going to continue to be for Michael Jordan's legacy. The shittier the Bulls are for the longer of time. When the last thing they were good at was Michael Jordan, and they've just been dog crap for almost the entirety time since.
Well, they made a conference finals. Sorry, go ahead.
This makes Oklahoma so much better.
I agree.
They get a defensive piece. They got somebody that can shoot the ball as well. I think what they should do next is, do a package deal and or package Lou Dortz, maybe Isaiah Joe. They need to figure out something with Hayward.
You want to move off Dort?
Yeah, because what you get, like,
his value is very high.
If you're gonna go after like a Lauri Markkanen, which I think like would be a huge piece for them, or if you want to be cheap, get somebody like a Isaiah Hartenstein. And
they've got Dort through 2027.
Okay, so his value.
They would have to trade him, right?
He'd trade him, and if somebody's thinking, hey, I'm getting a defensive piece that can, that'll help. But yeah, they need to try to get a superstar big or like a Lauri Markkanen or Isaiah Hartenstein. Get somebody in the draft maybe. I was big on even get Zach Edey.
I know those were separate, but you did just say a superstar big like Lauri Markkanen or Isaiah Hartenstein.
No, Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein is not a star.
I was just joking.
But yeah.
So it makes them very good. The weakness that they had against the Mavericks in this series was when Giddey was playing, they were playing 12 feet off of him. He couldn't hit a shot. Caruso ain't that. And on the defensive side of the ball, Giddey's got a good size, and he's like a good defender, but he is not Alex Caruso. Alex Caruso can run your second unit. We get to see if he'll be a starter or not. And then the big move that they need to make this offseason, I agree with you, Justin. They got to get a big. I agree with you, Trey. You got this war chest. You got to use it. Whether marketing is the move, I don't know. I'd like to see maybe somebody I'd like to personally see like Valanciunas go there.
Steven Adams?
I think Steven Adams in
Valanciunas?
Houston. But
Steven
they
Adams,
just need
big
a
injuries.
body. They need a
But if
body.
you're going to do that, get Zach Edey.
But they need a body who doesn't need the ball, and that they need a Steven
Zach Edey.
Adams. They
Brooke
need
Lopez.
Brooke Lopez.
Brooke
would be
Lopez
huge.
apparently might be out of
Memphis.
Milwaukee, so that's not a bad move.
That'd be
he'd be shooting. That'd be great. Okay.
That'd be the way to go.
Let's move on. The Pacers and Pascal Siakam agreed to a max contract extension, checking off Indiana's first and most important thing on the franchise's to-do list in the offseason. Bob, what do the Pacers need to do this offseason to take the next step?
Well, considering they made the Eastern Conference Finals
Like
this
you
year,
predicted?
Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome. I'll give you
to-
flowers for that forever.
Appreciate it, brother, man. If they want to take that next step and really, beat the fucking Celtics, which seems insane, they have to address directly what the Celtics have that they don't. And honestly, not having Eggs Benny in this last series really sucked. So they didn't actually understand what their star 2 guard really should look like against a Jaylen Brown. But honestly, they just have to improve probably on their size even more. I mean, you're still going to have Kristaps Porzingis and Al Horford hitting that thing.
They got
Miles
Siakam,
Turner and
Turner
Siakam.
and
That's true. Jarris Walker. No, not Jarris Walker.
Like Aaron Nesmith, Pascal Siakam, Isaiah
So
Jackson. Obi
Nesmith,
Toppin.
that's the thing is if you can replace Nesmith with Eggs Benny or vice versa, whichever one plays better, or if all three of them can play on the same court together and develop,
which they can.
they can.
Jalen Smith.
Thank you.
That's what I was thinking. That's there. I knew it was a Jalen.
And then if they can. Okay, here's where the Paul George one comes to mind.
Yes,
like this makes more sense for
I
Paul
want
George to go
Paul
here.
George.
In my opinion, this makes more sense for Paul George to
Come
go back to
home.
Indiana.
I'd be happy with that.
I think it'd be fantastic
Come
because again, you're
home.
still focusing on the things that Indiana wants to do, which is lengthy.
They got the money, too.
They got the money. You can still shoot the thing, and it just makes a lot of sense for Paul George to go back here if you were to pick somewhere, in my opinion.
John Anthony kind of agrees with you. He says Indy's bench is deep. If they can upgrade the wing position, they will do great things. Justin, tell me about the Pacers. What do they got to do first?
I think the Paul George thing makes a lot of sense.
love it.
And I think if they bring him back, he gets to play the late in his career Reggie Miller role of the early 2000s.
Sure.
When they got the young guys that came in there, they were going to make that final, and then obviously all that nonsense happened. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if they bring him in there, I would say that they have a really good shot. And that does kind of fix what they need, in my opinion. You could basically move out Aaron Nesmith and move in Paul George. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, great.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. That would be really good for them, especially in that weak ass.
I like the Paul George
wanna
back to
address that.
Indiana thing. I don't know what they would have to give up for Paul George because
He's a free agent. He's a UFA.
Yeah, that's right. So
UFA, but
yeah,
they sign his
that
ass.
would be huge if they picked him up. They would definitely
Offer him a no trade clause today.
that would definitely bump them up from what they were.
Nemhard has a lot of value right now.
I don't know
He
that we're
really
ever
sh-
seeing a no
he
trade
really
clause
showed
again.
out.
Nemhard's
The-
huge.
Bradley
Report
Beal.
was the Clippers were going to give him one to get him to stay.
Wow. Okay, so sorry, he has a player option. It's assumed he's going to opt out because he's got $48 million this year. He will be, I assume, a UFA. What you were about to say at the end there, the weak ass Eastern Conference, right? Something that is brewing that we're not really talking about a lot is how many teams feel like they're one guy away in the East. The Sixers feel like they could be one guy away. The
Knicks.
Pacers feel like they could be one guy away. I think the Magic just need more
Close.
time. I don't think they're
Magic
one guy
I
yet.
think they're one guy away.
Knicks.
If they get one, if they got a Paul George,
Depends on
they
the
would
right
be
guy.
there.
Depends on the
Klay
guy, I
Thompson.
guess. Yeah, sure.
Klay Thompson.
Klay Thompson's not the guy. That's
No,
Next.
he's not going to be the only
I got
one.
him in
Yeah,
there.
Anyway,
Klay Thompson.
my point here, we don't have to go on very long with that, but my point is the East is getting tougher, and in a few years, the scales might shift because, LeBron will be gone, Steph will be gone, KD will be gone. The balance of power might change, and the East we be looking at the East right in a few years like we do at the West right now. So yeah, set yourself up for success. I love the Pascal Siakam contract. Pay him what he needs. Obviously, get him to stay. It was a great trade, and they did what they needed to do. The next thing that they need to do is show up at Paul George's doorstep and literally bind him and take him back to Indiana. Take him to the field house until he signs.
That should be legal.
Do the DeAndre Jordan thing.
If you can
Do not
kidnap
let
a guy-
him leave the house until he signs the paper.
Or
All right.
Kawhi Leonard.
The Cavaliers today agreed to terms with Kenny Atkinson to become the franchise's next head coach. You like this hire? And what's next for the Cavs? Quickly.
Fantastic hire. Kenny Atkinson obviously has spent the last couple years on the bench next to Steve Kerr and the Golden State Warriors. Previously, he had been a head coach, so you just love that experience from him, and you love what he's learned in that time. Good for Kenny. He deserves it. There's maybe only two other assistant head coaches. The Dallas assistant head coach that absolutely deserves it. I forget his name. And I think the Pelicans head coach or assistant head coach
Minnesota.
deserve. And Maybe, yeah, I think I would throw Minnesota in there too. He did a really good job as the three assistant coaches that should be head coaches, and I'm glad one of them got it. So good for you, Kenny. Good for the Cavs.
Great hire. They need to figure out who they're trading Darius Garland for and move the fuck on. They need to really figure that out because obviously those two guys don't want to play
You
together.
think Garland's the one to go?
Yeah, I think you have to move Garland because I do think that Donovan Mitchell has. You keep Donovan Mitchell because he's 27. If he was 32, you trade him. He's 27. You keep him. He's obviously better than Darius Garland. He needs to move on. Now the thing is, you say the Spurs. What are you going to get for him? I think they need pieces to try and win now because that's kind of how their team is set up for now.
Zach Collins.
Yeah, or you call up somebody. You got to call up Atlanta. You got to call up. I don't know, figure something out.
Do a 3-way trade. Yeah, make it happen.
Yep.
Trey?
Yeah, I mean, sure, I'm happy with it. I think I'm not like blown out of the water with it.
So
I thought it was either going to be. I thought it was going to be Monty Williams, honestly, but Kenny Atkinson is. I'm sure.
What if Monty Williams got another fat contract and then like
Give
left
another
after
$100 million deal.
1 year gone?
But I think Donovan Mitchell is going to be gone as much as he's going to end up on one of the New York teams. It's destined to happen. He's going to go to Brooklyn or he's going to go to the Knicks.
Love it.
He will.
I like to hire Kenny Atkinson. You know, he's a big vibes guy. His last head coaching job was 19 or 20, I believe, with the Nets before they traded all those guys. Remember, they had the best bench mob in the D'Lo and all those guys. You know, that was part of Kenny Atkinson doing. He's also a fantastic developer of young talent. They've got that motherfucker in the middle, Evan Mobley, who, if he's developed properly, could look like a lot of guys that we call all-timers.
Yep.
If he is developed properly and that unit is managed properly, the next move, I would say, if you're going to trade one of the two of them, I think that it's tough just you're going to have to pay him so much money. But, you probably keep Mitchell and you move Garland. Figure it out. Yeah, I agree. Do a 3-way deal. Get Garland to San Antonio. That's what San Antonio needs. That's what the Cavs need. Let's move on. Scotty Barnes.
Hey-o.
Agreed to an extension with the Raptors worth $270 million. Making him the highest paid player in franchise history. What do the Raptors need to do next to get back to the playoffs with their franchise guy?
Scotty Barnes is an NBA All-Star.
Yes, sir.
That's the head coach. That's what he was shouting out at a press conference.
Oh, yeah.
Former face of the league, is that what he said?
He is an All-Star.
What's his name?
Darko.
Yes.
Reykjavik.
So close. Rajakovic.
Rajakovic.
Yes.
I know it's close. Darko.
I'm going to give it to you.
My boy Darko. Thanks.
Is he in last place still? Give him 50 points.
Thank you.
Okay, give him 50 points, sir.
That's what I was waiting for. Scotty Barnes could be very good in the future. Glad they signed him. He's clearly the best player on the team. In franchise history, guess what? Inflation exists. So you can't really say, he's the best because he's paid the most.
No,
but Scotty Barnes makes a lot of sense. And
He's made biggest contract in Raptors history.
It's fantastic. Good for Scotty. Keep winning.
What do they need to do next?
Next, they really need to lock in on maximizing Emmanuel quickly, just continuing his development, and then probably just add pieces defensively around them.
They need a lot.
They need a lot.
They
Let's
obviously
be
they have
honest.
to pay him. They're not going to be good. Probably, I'll be honest with you, they're not going to be good for the majority of his career, which kind of sucks because he's going to be a really good player. I think he's going to do the what's his name, DeMar DeRozan thing. He's going to be a really good player up there in the North. They're not going to win much. Because I don't think he's going to get a running mate that's going to be as good as a Kyle Lowry for him. And so I just think
BBL
they need a lot of help.
BBL Lowry.
So much help.
Okay. What's the first help they need?
They need to tank all of next season and hopefully get like 7 first-round draft picks.
Or
They're so bad.
Question.
Answer.
Daily double.
What was the question?
Oh, sorry. What's the Raptors next? What do the Raptors need to do next to get back to the playoffs?
What they need to do is get another 1 or 2 guard. I think Scotty Barnes is very deserving of that money. I've been big on him since he's came out. He had a rough sophomore season, little sophomore slump, what everybody usually goes through. Bounce back. He deserves the bag. They definitely need another point guard, 2 guard, because Gary Trent Jr. isn't it. RJ Barrett, he stepped up. He's averaging 20 points a game, but he's too up and down. So,
I was like, what is he?
Team Canada.
Definitely a one or 2 guard is needed.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons that he had a bit of a sophomore slump is because Fred VanVleet wasn't there.
Yep.
He was the number one option very clearly. I agree with you, Bob. Let's invest in Emmanuel quickly a little bit. Let's see what the Knicks trade for him as well. RJ Barrett, thank you so much. The other Canadian, give him an opportunity to shine and see what they can do. Darko's seems to be a pretty damn good coach. I love the way he interacts. He is an all-star, like you said. I love him. First thing, let's go get a legit wise point guard. Doesn't have to be, not Chris Paul or anything like that, but let's go get a guy who knows the game and can hopefully try to I almost said euthanize. Bring the youth to the Raptors. All right, the NBA draft is tomorrow, and although this isn't the most exciting draft class we've ever seen, there are some interesting prospects in the mix. But Bob, what team makes the biggest splash in the draft this year?
The biggest team that makes a splash, it's easy to say the Spurs because they have 2 top 10 picks, but I'm going to have to go with whatever team, and I'm really serious, whatever team gets Rob Dillingham. I'm not a Kentucky guy. In fact, I despise all things Kentucky basketball. I hate the Wildcats, but Rob Dillingham is someone very special. Even watching him in the tournament, watching him regular season games, just catching here and there, there was something about him. And honestly, we were talking Darius Garland earlier. God damn, that is the same cloth. Exact, like cut for cut copy. So if you can draft a Darius Garland right off the bat, you take him. And I think projections have him falling, honestly, to the end of the lottery.
Interesting.
I don't understand why. Yeah, there's a lot of big, lengthy, ball handle dudes in front of you. But, dude, take the guy that's just proven 6'3". I think he's only 6'3", but when size isn't really a factor a lot of the times, if you're a good ball handler, defender, scorer, I think any team that gets Rob Dillingham is going to be very impressed.
They got him at 16 at Philly right now.
Ridiculous. Wow.
Do they need another guard, though?
Yeah.
Hell no.
They do?
Yeah.
Philly?
I mean, they only have Tyrese.
We got to get rid of Tobias Harris.
They only have Tyrese. Who else do they have?
Well, his usage percentage was like 29%.
Yeah, but he can't do it all. Joel
Embiid is
They need another guard.
I think there's going to be. My thought is actually that the Thunder, because they're during draft time, they're going to move picks, and they're going to move picks to trades and for something big. I kind of have that feeling that they're not done moving pieces. I do like them moving Lou Dort, not because I don't like Lou Dort, but because what you can get back for him. And I think, for me, Alex Caruso is better than Lou Dort. For what they need, for what you can get on the floor.
Because of the offensive side.
Yeah, so I feel like they're going to make a big move for somebody. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's draft picks because Danny Ainge loves them, and they're going to do the Larry Market and stuff. I don't know what's going on. Maybe a 3-team deal that sends Lou Dort to Milwaukee. I don't know, but we'll see.
Trey, you know more about the draft than probably any of us.
It's got to be the Spurs, and the reason being is because they're going to find pieces to put around Victor.
You got it.
Rather that's it. They're going to make a big trade and get a star point guard like Trae Young, or get 2 young guys like Stephen Castle from Connecticut. They maybe even get Zachary however you say his last name, Rashisher or
Rashier.
Never heard that name before in my life. So
he's one of the French guys.
I know.
The only reason why I see them doing that is just because he's a French guy, and they can make a crazy splash and make a trade up and draft Alexander Sarr.
Yeah.
That would
it
be
sounds
insane.
crazy, but they could do it. And
Apparently
if they do that, and they have Victor and Alexander Sarr, and they end up getting a point guard somehow, they're going to be very scary.
Apparently, the Hawks are not going to move off number 1. But I also think it's like, we're going to give you our 2 top 10 picks when you're trying to win now. Swing them if you want. Go ahead and make it happen.
Sarr just said he does.
He doesn't want to go to
He's playing
Atlanta.
the
He
Eli
prefers
Manning.
the
I don't
Wizards.
want to play.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
Really?
Another thing,
Because
just
he
quickly,
knows the guards are
if the Spurs add another French player, I would like to no longer call them the San Antonio Spurs. I would like to call them the Sen Spurs.
The Sen Spurs.
It's a
Song.
it's the
Antonio.
river. Yeah, so it's the river in France.
The same.
Okay. I think the Spurs make some moves. I trust Brian Wright. I also am horrified, scared, terrified of what's about to happen tomorrow night when those picks start picking at his brain. He's sitting there in the war chest in Oklahoma City, and he's just like, you know what?
He's not going to sleep.
I'm not just gonna use these on guys that are going to play. Okay. In yet another argument as to why LeBron James is the greatest player in NBA history, Tom Haberstroh released an article last week in which he detailed how inflated some of Michael Jordan's stats were, most notably his steals. In a game against Houston in 1988, his Defensive Player of the Year season, by the way, he was given 5 steals when the Rockets themselves recorded 0 turnovers all game. Bob, is this just more fuel to the we done with the 90s fire?
I mean, it's fuel if you want it to be. Like, if you want to put, 91 in your car as opposed to the 87, put it in there. You know what I mean? Like, bring it on. Like, if you really want to fuel that fire and that hate, go for it. But I think it's not surprising and it's surprising at the same time. I don't know. I just know that you can't use this argument against someone who's like a die-hard Michael Jordan fan or anyone over the age of like 40 years old. They're gonna just be like, fake news, shut up.
Yeah, but those are,
so it's like, whatever. The arguments are still gonna argue, and we can't take awards away.
Quickly.
Unless you're Reggie Bush.
Quickly. I think fans of any player in that conversation don't want to open up any arguments to go back and look through games and look for different stats that shouldn't be there or should be there.
Yeah, but a difference of 5 just phantom steals. I mean,
that's one game though.
Also,
how many games it is?
Hang on. The rule book states a steal is swatting the ball away from the other team. Ball goes out of bounds, it's still a steal. But I don't really care about that. What I care about is saying, if you're going to use it as fuel for your fire, that's fine, but then you do have to open up to everything. And if the stats were inflated, they weren't just inflated for Michael Jordan, because they said they were cooking the books for everybody, so they were inflated for everyone. And if his stats were still better than everybody else's while they're inflated, he still was better than everybody else by a wide margin, so he still would have gotten the Defensive Player of the Year.
I want to see the Wilt 100-point game.
You got 48 hours.
Yeah.
No, we're not done with the 80s. The 80s, they did play.
80s. What about the 90s?
Or the 90s. They played.
Love the 80s.
It sounds like they're trying to say like Michael Jordan wasn't as good of a defensive player as what he was. That's
not
what
at all what Tom.
It seems like
if you read that article, that's not at all what it is. It's simply stat facts. It's like
from 6 games.
So ask me the question that you just said, and I'll answer it. What's the question?
Is this just more fuel to the we done with the 90s fire?
No.
Cool. Rookie sensation and Defensive Player of the Year candidate Cameron Brink was dealt the devastating diagnosis of a torn ACL and will miss the remainder of the season. Bob, this has officially put an end to the Sparks playoff hopes.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a whole lot that they can do.
They're like 4 games out, I think.
Yeah, they're kind of sitting at the bottom of the standings there with the other teams that we love, like the Dallas Wings and the Washington Mystics.
Right now, it looks like the Fever and the Sparks are both going to miss the playoffs, but the Fever only a game back. So
yeah, and the Fever actually have kicked Chicago's ass 2 out of the 3 games. So.
John Anthony says, "I'm googling how to donate an ACL right now." Justin, is this wraps on the Sparks season?
For the Sparks season, definitely. Especially because I think the Fever are about to shoot upwards. They've been playing really well,
trending upwards. You can see this is a good helpful graph. Maybe it's not here right now. Sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, so that's what I look at. The teams ahead of them are ascending while they're taking steps back because of
her injury.
No fault of their own.
Yeah. Trey, is it over for the Sparks?
It's wraps on the Sparks, and it's about to be wraps on her leg because she's about to have a terrible ACL surgery.
I mean, it's funny, you've been through it.
Terrible.
It's funny when we talk about NBA prospects. You see a guy like a Victor or a Chet, and you go, injury prone. It makes me nervous. Cam fell victim to that.
Yep.
Also, I mean, it wasn't just her on court. Because she wasn't offensive side of the ball, somewhat limited. Then mostly due to her touches, I would say. But on the defensive side of the ball, my lord, she had 3 game-winning blocks over the course of a 5-game stretch. It was second in the league, or tied for second in the league, I believe, in blocks behind Asia, of course. Without Cam, they're going to be torched. All right, last one here, gentlemen. In a unstoppable force meets an immovable object matchup, the top-seeded best in the offense in the league, Liberty, will host the top-seeded best defense in the league, Lynx, tomorrow night for the Commissioner's Cup Championship. Bob, who you got?
Offense wins championships. I've got the New York Liberty winning that game. Absolutely. The Lynx can do what they can do, but
Sabrina Brianna.
Yeah, at the end of the day, if you watch one game of Liberty this year, do yourself a favor, watch more. It's absolutely fantastic. They are a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, there was that game against the Fever where I think it was
You're
a
such a
12-point.
No, just the way you said it. Like, if you watched one game,
Watch
more. I was like, okay.
You're gonna love it.
They had that one game against the Fever where it was I think it was like a 12-point deficit, or it was a 20-point deficit at half. Fever come back at a halftime, go on a 12-0 run, and then the Liberty just exploded. And by the time it was over, it was like a 38-point win. Justin, who you got in this one?
I'm taking the Liberty because, spoiler alert for later, is my bet. But but the big thing is, I feel like at any point in time, the threes can fall, and Serena could just fucking shoot 90 of them. Who cares? And I just feel like
a lot of them.
Yeah, so it especially in a league with a little bit less scoring. So like I think the explosions are a little more impactful, if that makes sense.
I agree. Trey, who you got in this one? Best defense, best offense?
I'm gonna go with the offense. Sabrina and Breonna Stewart. They're gonna go out there and ball out.
Yeah, the Lynx have been incredible, and my question really is going to be kind of how the Liberty defend Nafisha, because she's been fucking crazy. She's, I want to say, second in the league in points per game behind Asia, of course. So I'll go Lynx. Wait, you said
Liberty.
You said
Liberty.
You said
Liberty.
I'll go Lynx. Sure, I'll swerve. Okay, cool. Well, that was speed takes. Liberty. That was speed takes,
What was that?
gentlemen. What was that noise? I don't even know. It's the random question of the day.
Hey-o.
Oh, he did it again.
He never does that.
Who would have thought he did it again?
Never does that.
It's a random question of the day where I ask one random NBA trivia question. If anybody gets it right, you get 1,000 points. The Boston Celtics won their 18th championship in franchise history and their third since the fall of the Berlin Wall to take the lead for the most NBA titles in league history. Your question today is, how many games have the Boston Celtics played in the NBA Finals? Individual games.
Individual game.
You know what?
123.
I think it's like 112.
Guess who's going last? What a shock.
Oh, here we go.
2 numbers off the board.
94.
No! The Boston Celtics hold a record of 83-57 in the NBA Finals for a total of 140 games played.
Oh, hey, nice round number.
Nice round number, isn't that right?
Like to see it.
I never would have guessed.
You love to see a round number. All right, let's get to our game of the day at 1 hour and 4 minutes, folks. It's time for Free Agent Frenzy. That's right, it's Free Agent Frenzy. In this game, you will operate as your very own GMs of an NBA franchise. Every player in NBA history is a free agent. Each round, there's a rule about the players that you may sign. I will start by signing a player that fits the rule. You will attempt to sign one player, NBA player, that fits the rule of the round. The player that you choose, 100 points. He gets the rule, and I receive the points. Sound good?
Yes.
Good.
All right, let's get to it. I'm going to start with, I think of a number between 1 and 75.
7.
12.
8.
It was 41.
Yes!
So Justin.
Yes!
Freeze. Okay, we forgetting. This is our last opportunity to freeze him. We got to freeze him.
What a short month. I hate this month.
I guess you can't freeze him during
June
this thing.
sucks.
Okay. All right. Unfreeze, you're fine. I'm going to start with Carmelo Anthony. Justin, you get to go first. Or last, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, Trey, I'm going to start with Carmelo Anthony.
May I sign Chauncey Billups?
No. Sorry, I pulled this up. I apologize.
Okay.
No, you may not.
May I sign Steph Curry?
No, you may not.
May I sign?
You may sign Chauncey Billups.
Oh.
Okay.
Sorry.
May I sign? I don't know. May I sign Allen Iverson?
You may not sign Allen Iverson.
May I sign Landry Fields?
Landry Fields. You may sign Landry Fields.
Is this Carmelo Anthony's teammates on the Knicks?
Never that complicated. Bob.
He signed Carmelo Anthony.
I know it's his team. I said it's his teammates on the Knicks.
May I
Carmelo
sign?
Anthony's not a teammate of himself.
I guess you're right.
May I sign Andre Kirilenko? AK-47?
You may not sign AK-47.
May I sign? May I sign? May I sign? Chris Birdman Anderson.
You may not sign Chris the Bird. And the bird is the word.
May I sign, I don't know, LeBron James?
You may not.
May I sign? May I sign Stephon Marbury?
You may. Chris Anderson's middle name is Claus. Or Klaus.
Birdman,
I
Klaus.
was thinking Santa, but yeah.
Yeah.
But
Kringle.
May I sign Jeremy Lin?
you may.
All right. I'm going to guess.
Go for it.
Oh my God, it's going to be, I'm not faithful anymore. All right, give me
Well, don't tell Sarah.
former Knick players.
That's what it was.
That is what it was.
I just big brained it.
Former Knicks players, 100
God.
points to Bob. All right. Round 2, I'm going to start with JJ Redick. And it'll be Bob starting.
May I sign Jason Tatum?
No.
May I sign Pat Riley?
Yes.
Are these Lakers coaches?
No.
Oh, see ya.
May I sign Phil Jackson?
Yes.
May I sign, all right, let's keep it going. Jerry West?
Yes.
May I sign Larry Brown?
Yes.
Oh, may I sign Jason Kidd?
Yes.
Are these players turned coaches?
Yes. He's 2 for 2.
Yes.
I don't know where is that. Let's see the scoreboard now.
Keep it moving. Don't look.
Oh, you still got some work to do. Okay.
We're working.
Round 3. I think that I would be best if I begin with Zion Williamson. And it's Justin starting.
May I sign? May I sign Hakeem Olajuwon?
No.
May I sign Markel Fultz?
No.
May I sign Brandon Ingram?
Yes.
Are these current Pelicans players?
Yes, it is. He's 3 for 3. And more importantly, that's the and one of the day.
Here we go.
Here we go. Once I tell you the question, you got 30 seconds to answer. How many All-Star appearances has Zion Williamson made?
All-star appearances for Zion Williamson. I think he's just had one, Michael. Final answer.
No. Practice free throws. It's 2.
Oh.
Next round, I'm going to start with Kawhi Leonard, and it'll be Trey starting.
May I draft or sign Fred VanVleet?
No.
May I sign Michael Jordan?
No.
May I sign Robert Ory?
Yes.
Are these former Spurs players?
No.
May I sign Tony Parker?
Yes.
May I sign Tim Duncan?
No.
May
I
I
started with Tim Duncan.
You started with Kawhi.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Still? Okay.
So, but
no?
he still
Okay.
can't take
You,
him.
you still can't take Tim Duncan. No.
All right. Thanks.
May I sign Boris Diaw?
Yes.
Are these players that have been traded from San
No.
Antonio?
What about
When was Tim Duncan traded from San Antonio?
You said no to Tim
You
Duncan.
said no
Oh,
to
yeah.
Tim
What are you
Duncan.
talking about?
You're right.
may I sign Manu Ginobili?
Yes.
Are these Tim Duncan teammates?
Yes.
There it is.
He's 4 for
Fucking
4.
knew it.
This is crazy.
Come on.
We've never seen a performance like this. Next one,
Hit me.
round 5. I'm going to start with Kevin Garnett. And it is
Bob.
Bob.
May I sign Paul Pierce?
No.
May I sign Sam Cassell?
No.
May I sign Jason Terry?
No.
We all locked into 08 Celtics for some reason. May I sign...
Sam Cassell was not 08 Celtic.
He was. May I sign... Look it up while I think of one.
I'm dumb.
Anyway, may I sign Chris Bosh?
Yes.
May I sign Larry Markkinen?
No.
May I sign Dirk Nowitzki?
Yes.
By the way, shout out Tony Allen, Butler CC. Let's go, baby.
Hey.
Hey, what?
How cool is that?
Surely that's not.
I think it is.
Really?
Yeah.
It is,
Wow.
yeah.
It was yes to he may sign.
Dirk.
Dirk was the last, I believe.
May I sign? Misspelled Bosch. May I sign?
Spelled like the
BOSCH.
yeah, the tools.
May I sign someone by the name of Greg Oden?
No.
Okay.
May I sign?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were out.
Me.
I thought you were out, but
Oh.
you just jumped early the last 2 rounds. So
Yeah, I
just thought you
did.
were
I
out.
did.
Go
I
ahead.
did. So may I sign Amari Stoudemire?
Yeah.
May I sign Tyson Chandler?
I have to consult. On a technicality, yes. If it were without the technicality, I would say no.
Interesting.
May I sign Tim Duncan?
Yes.
Are these power forwards?
No.
May I sign Julius Randle?
No.
For these retired power forwards.
Yes. It is retired
One word.
power forwards. Bummer. I was rooting for you to go all the
Man.
way. All right.
had
Who
it.
starts next? Justin?
Yep.
But actually, it's me. I'm going to take Jaylen Brown.
Can I? May I sign Jalen Rose?
No.
Wow.
Suck it, you thought, motherfucker! Bitch, gotcha. Ass.
May I sign Kobe Bryant?
No.
You said Jaylen Brown.
I did.
May I sign Jason Tatum?
Yes.
May I sign Kyrie Irving?
I'm checking. No.
Are these current Celtics?
No.
Oh.
Nope. Fuck out of here.
See ya.
May I sign
So hot.
Marcus? Was Marcus Smart said?
Not yet. You
No,
want to
Marcus
sign?
Smart.
No.
May I sign
Fuck no. Sometimes you gotta pop out.
Jonas Valanciunas?
No.
Sometimes you gotta pop out Jonas Valanciunas.
What?
May I sign Luka Doncic?
Yes.
May I sign PJ Washington?
No.
May I sign Steph Curry?
Yes.
May I sign Al Horford?
No.
Okay.
You're with me no more. Okay.
May I sign Nikola Jokic?
Yes. Great. I will take LeBron James. Sorry.
Are these? Oh man. How about?
How about you
take
take
a
a pick
player?
first? Yeah.
I know I had to. Thanks.
That is a rule, by
I
the way.
did not know.
He is an all-star.
Basketball. Give me. May I sign Michael Jordan?
No.
May I sign Dwayne Wade?
No. He's had enough. He's out of here.
I think. I know. I don't want to guess anyone else. I'm kind of. How about? May I sign SGA?
Yes.
May I sign Victor Wembanyama?
No.
How about I sign a? Oh, I don't know. Alex Caruso.
No. I'm going to take Paolo Banchero.
May I sign LaMelo Ball?
No.
May I sign Lou Dort?
No.
May I sign De'Aaron Fox?
Yes. Well, sorry. Hang on one second, please. Actually, no, you may not.
No. Okay.
Make it count, Bob.
May I sign? May I sign someone like Tyrese Halliburton?
Yes.
May I sign DeMontis Sabonis?
Yes.
Guess, Bob.
May I sign Jalen Brunson?
Yes. I'm going to take Bam Adebayo. One pick, one guess, Trey.
May I sign Giannis Antetokounmpo?
Yes. One guess.
These players that led their team in points?
No. One pick, one guess, bud.
May I sign?
Surprised this one's giving you so much trouble. One pick, one guess.
I mean, may I sign Isaiah Hartenstein?
No.
Oh.
Halliburton, Sabonis, Brunson, Bam, Giannis, SGA, Banchero, LeBron, Jokic, Curry, Luka, Tatum, Brown. What do these all have in common? These are all players that played in the playoffs.
Your boy Curry did not play in the playoffs,
they're
but he
all-stars.
was a 2024 NBA All-Star.
Look at that.
I got 100 points. All right, here we go. I'm going to start with Dwight Howard. Hey, who's starting? Fucking lost track.
Trey?
Trey starts.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard, it's you.
Can I draw? May I sign JJ Redick?
No.
No.
May I sign Quinn Cook?
No.
May I sign Kevin Garnett?
Yes.
May I sign Dikembe Mutombo?
No.
May I sign Miles Turner?
No.
May I sign LeBron James?
Yes.
May I sign Chris Bosh?
No.
May I sign Steph Curry?
No.
May I sign Manu Ginobili?
I'd like you to pick a different name. I will not elaborate.
May I sign Chauncey Billups?
No. Trey.
May I sign Paul Pierce?
No.
Dwight Howard, KG, and LeBron. May I sign Glenn Big Baby Davis?
Isn't he in prison now?
He's about to be.
I
I
think
think,
he
yeah.
may get problems.
No.
Damn. Sorry, I
Is
tried Big Baby.
is this your next? Wait. Who started? Trey started?
Trey started.
Okay, you go.
May I sign, for me personally, may I sign Pau Gasol?
Again, I'm gonna have you choose a different name, and I will not elaborate.
May I sign Kobe Bryant?
Yes.
This is the Dream Team players? The Redeem Team players? Sorry, but I said the wrong thing. Does it matter? I just don't like being told I can't sign a player or yes or no.
We'll talk about it.
May I sign? May I sign James Harden?
No.
May I sign Jermaine O'Neal?
Yes.
Players that went straight to the NBA.
Bang! Yep. You got it.
That's a
Players that skipped
that's a
college.
Michael Breen bang right there.
So the category is players that skipped college. The reason I had you skip the two foreign players because they were professionals before they came to the NBA. In those two instances, in Gasol and Manu,
Fair enough.
a lot of foreign players.
I was like, it's going to be like a 2004.
No.
You know what I mean?
All right, last round here. Who starts?
Me?
I just went. Yeah.
So Bob.
So Bob starts. I'm going to start with Jalen Suggs.
Why would you do that? That sucks. It's a suggy pick. Give me Jalen Brunson.
Yes, you may.
May I sign Jalen Brunson?
You may. You want to guess?
I really need the points, but it doesn't matter. So, Justin.
May I sign Jalen Rose?
Yes.
Are these players named Jalen?
Yes.
Thank you.
And you know why?
Thank you.
Because it's the Jalen
It's the
Jalen Brown.
Jalen Brown.
60 Jalen's. 20 Jalen's.
Jalen Brown.
Give me your Jalen's. Come here,
I will
Jalen.
take all of your Jalen's.
Get over
please.
here, Jalen.
All right. Wowee. What an episode we've had. Justin, my brother, man, what do we finish that game with, sir?
That game. Uh-oh, I messed up a thing. That game, we finished with 0 points to Trey.
Damn.
That game, we finished with 100 points to Michael. And that game, we ended up with 200 points to me and 500
Fuck
big
yeah,
ones.
Bob. That's what you needed. So then just
Ya
curious,
boy.
Hey, what?
who wins the day?
Somebody's spinning the wheel. His name is BBL Bobby.
There we go.
Hurry, Bob.
All right, my brother. Well, here is the wheel.
Wow. Oh, my God. Whoa, dude, you actually added you automatically win the month on here. Thanks for that recommendation. Glad you listened to me
Okay,
finally.
you know what that means. It's time to spin the wheel. Hey. 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 Let's go. Hey. Spin that wheel, mother. Good spin. Max bet.
God damn it.
Well.
All right, whatever. I
had
would have
to
done
cut
it anyway.
anyway, so-
Yeah, you probably had to do that
God,
either way.
that
Yeah.
was what I didn't want.
What's the points at?
I only have like
We didn't freeze him nearly enough this episode.
650.
I forgot. Freeze!
don't move.
Yeah. The fuck? You
Boston
moving around while you
PD.
freeze him?
Freeze.
All right, unfreeze. So that means that now that we've got those points awarded, Bob has spun the wheel. Gentlemen, I've got an idea. It's just a crazy concept. I think that maybe we should bet these points away. What about that?
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Is
What
that
if-
legal
what
in
if
this
we
state?
What if we did it in a little segment called Props to You?
Episode of Props to You. Bob.
Bye.
I forget her first name.
Alana.
Alana Smith. Over 11.5 points. You gotta bet all of them. You're in last place. Gonna be in last place. So we're just gonna go ahead and put those on there.
650 for the boy.
650 for the boy. Hey, Michael.
Yeah.
You might be in first place. You got Brianna Stewart's under hater bet of 19.5 versus the Minnesota Lynx. How many are you betting?
I'm not going to risk anything. I'll throw 100.
100 big ones. Now, here's the real problem we have, gentlemen. Trey, you're kind of being a douche canoe right now and betting against me.
Real bad.
Sabrina, Ionescu, I've got the over at 18.5. You've got the under, obviously, at 18.5.
You might as well go all in.
Yeah, Trey, what are you thinking?
Both of you.
I'll do 300.
300 points. He really is
Real bad.
playing a conservative.
I'm playing conservative this year.
He wasn't ready.
I'm going to bet 600 points.
Oh.
Wow. So you guys risk a tie then? It doesn't matter. Bob loses the month.
Bob's going to lose a month. I could win the month with a 600. He could also win the month.
So
with
then
600.
let's just do this now then.
Oh, this
Just pull it.
bullet.
Let's get the Stein popping.
Get it out of the way.
And while you do
Also-
that, yes?
Pick that. That's it.
Nope.
No.
While you get that young thing going on, why don't you show off to the people at home? And we show that off. AudreyJeanCeramics.com if you want some pottery needs. For all of your pottery needs, AudreyJeanCeramics.com. Pull the Stein. Stein of pain.
Pain.
Stein of pain. Stein of pain.
Oh my
Stein
God!
of pain.
Kiss Bob on the lips. Kiss Bob.
There's some good ones in there.
Please kiss Justin on the lips. Never forget, Ground Zero awaits you. Best of luck.
Oh, shit, bud. Don't worry. I'll bring the Pepto. You'll be okay.
I actually had to have Pepto this morning.
What is it?
I rarely have to take
The hottest
Pepto
sauce.
the next morning after, but we had like burgers at like 8:30 p.m.
You'll
last
get
night.
ice. You'll be okay. I'll get you a
This
milkshake.
boy was.
You'll be all right, bud. Don't worry.
You could do what I did.
I really was all right. I accept every challenge.
Well, yeah.
I will never
got
say
excited
no,
to see
and I'll
another
never
bowl.
purposely avoid something like this.
course.
I'm not ducking any challenge.
The Stein of pain.
Quack, quack. It's the sign of pain. Yeah, that's what we do. Is what we do that. We do that. But before we go, I remember earlier I told you guys that I had a little surprise for you. A little surprise for you. So Trey, you're holding that trophy over there. Would you show that off to the fans right now, real quick? Look at that beautiful big trophy for first place.
Gorgeous.
We need something to commemorate second place. We need a silver trophy.
So
Therefore, to you guys, I would like to reveal the YB second place trophy.
Oh no! What a little surprise.
It is this big, and you get to hold it for the month. The second place. Now it doesn't have a basketball on it yet, but I'm working on it. So,
You know what?
Yeah.
We got to do something where you get second place, you get the little baby trophy.
Uh-huh.
And
Little baby crown.
tiara.
Oh, a tiara would be great.
I'm on board now.
Oh my god, I love it. Okay, so this is awaiting second
diadem.
place. This is awaiting second place, whoever gets it. Okay, gentlemen, it's been so glad to have everybody back. Such a fun episode. A long one, definitely, but after 2 missed episodes, 3 weeks apart, it feels right for this one to run a little bit long. So
Yeah, they deserve it.
yeah, of course. Now, before we get out of here, be sure that you guys go to yaybasketball.com for exclusive YB merch designed by our very own Dan Gilligan Vogel, Heel Boy. Some good merch on there. Yaybasketball.com for exclusive YB merch. Also, we thank you for listening, and if you're watching still here on YouTube, if you're listening or watching on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, be sure that you drop a 5-star rating, drop a comment, share with your friends, all of that good stuff, and of course, follow us at @yay_basketball on TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram.
Add me on the ground.
Of course, this was another live one, as they all are. Another technical difficulty. Just a reminder, we are recording live from the EA studio.
Do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Bob, so good to have you back, my boy. What do you got for the people?
Glad to be back, Michael. Thank you so much. Go Oilers. Hey, complete the sweep. Bring it back.
Are they
1-1 currently?
Okay.
Pretty much at the beginning of the second second period, as they call it.
Yeah.
So, hey, go Oilers.
Do you remember that week we were going to get into hockey?
Yeah, there was a week and a half, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. It was a cool week. Justin, anything for the people?
I'm just happy to be back on land, back home, having a good time. You know what I mean? It's been fun.
And we're glad to have you back. Trey, hardworking father of 3. What do you got for the peeps?
So I had said previously that Matas Buzelis is going to be the sleeper in the draft after looking into some things and looking over some tape and the pre-draft things. AJ Johnson, who is Jalen Green's little brother, coming out of Illawarra. I'll show you. He played for the same team in the same league that like LaMelo Ball came out of. He's a stud. He's going to 6'6" guard that's very athletic, like Jalen Green, plays very similar to him. So just keep your eyes out for that guy.
I like that.
But also,
Oh.
Yes.
it's Take Back Lunch Day.
Take back. Nobody never took my food.
Take your lunch back day.
Whoever that's fucking with them, fuck you people and fuck the industry too. If you take it there, I'm taking it further. Something you don't want to do. Somebody's gonna pop out and. All right, so guys, it's been a pleasure to be back. Really love doing this. The summer's gonna get fun and freaky.
Freaky boy summer.
Yeah, freaky boy summer.
Chill boy summer.
It's chill boy summer, but it's also gonna be a little freaky boy summer. You know what I'm saying? No, we're gonna have some fun.
little summer.
We're gonna be covering the WNBA a lot, talking about the WNBA, talking about other various NBA stuff. Obviously, this is a packed summer. The NBA summer is we're very fortunate in the regard that there's hardly ever a dead season because typically that's filled up with August to September. Well, we've got the Olympics this year, so fortunately for us, the draft is tomorrow. We'll have some stuff to talk about next week. WNBA, of course, all that good stuff. So
Isn't free agency
stay
open on
tuned.
Sunday?
Sorry,
Free agency Sunday?
maybe.
I think so.
Oh, I thought
Sunday at 6?
it's typically on the 4th. But you might be right. I think it'd be weird that it's on a Sunday. It's typically on a weekday. I think it's like a business day. I don't care. You could be right. I have no idea. In the past, it's always been on the 4th or it's been on a weekday, something like that. Anyway,
Classic Justin. May be right.
you might be, but we'll never know. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for listening. So stick around. Come back next week. We love you so much for joining us. Thank you so much for joining us. We do appreciate it. It's been a blast to be back.
Yes, sir.
Fuck yeah! Everybody caught up on Hot D?
Oh, yeah.
Hot D. Yeah. We got to talk about that
I'd
at
be
some
catching
point.
up on Hot D.
Yay, basketball.